So welcome children once again, and we are in continuation with string functions, but before moving on to the rest of the string functions, I want to tell you something about the wrapper classes. So we have a classes called wrapper classes, and they are available to us in a package called java.lang. And children, these wrapper classes, they are in this particular package, and the work for these wrapper classes are that they convert the primitive data type into objects. Now children, we have studied in string functions that string functions works on string objects, or they work on objects. So the primitive values which we use, like byte, short, int, long, double, float, char, all these values are of type primitive, and these string functions do not work on primitive values. They have to be first changed, or their nature has to be changed to objects. So for doing this task we have wrapper classes, and so children, we say that wrapper classes are part of the java.lang package, and there are different wrapper classes for all the different data types which we have available. And children, when we are talking about data types, we have data types and we have wrapper classes for all the data types. So children, the first data type or the first primitive data type which we have is the byte. We have studied it in data type. It is storing 1 byte of data. Now to change this particular byte primitive data type into string, this is a numeric data, and we want to convert it into object. So the wrapper class which will be used for this is capital byte. So the difference is here the B is capital small letter, but in wrapper class the B is capital. Many times we'll be using it. I'll show you. The next data type is short, and its wrapper class is short, and it is written in capitals. So S is capital. So this is the data type I am writing, and this is the wrapper classes. Then the next data type is int, and the wrapper class of this is integer. Then the next data type is long, and the wrapper class to this is long. Then the next data type is float, and the wrapper class of this is float in capital. Then we have double, and the wrapper class used over here is double. Then the next value is char, and the wrapper class used over here is character. And the last data type over here is boolean, and the data type is boolean, and the wrapper class is boolean, but here. So children, here I have written all the data types which are primitive data types, and here I have written the wrapper classes, and the purpose of these wrapper classes are to change the nature of these primitive data types into objects. So once these gets changed into objects, then we can apply other functions on it also. I hope children these wrapper classes are clear. Many times a question has been asked, and it has asked you to write down the wrapper classes of different data types also, and it has asked you what are wrapper classes. So we say that wrapper classes are those classes which converts primitive data type into objects, so that we can work on the different functions can be applied on those objects. I hope children this is clear. Now we'll move on to the functions which we have. And children, we now know that we have two types of data. We have string data or string objects, and we have primitive data. So when we were using buffered reader, we were entering our data in strings only. So first is that how can we convert a data which is of type string into numeric. So the first is how we can convert string objects into numeric data. I am writing numeric because you have many numeric data types which I have written just over here. So how we can convert string data into numeric data, and this is the 21st function which we are talking about. And children, the functions which we are writing over here to convert string data into numeric data, we have two types of functions. First is a category which I say 21a, this is parse byte. This is the function parse byte, and children, this is going to convert my data, my string data. So byte v is equal to byte dot parse byte, and here I am writing a string, and children, this string should be a numeric value which is in the form of string, then only it gets converted to byte. So I'll just give an example over here. Say byte v is equal to byte dot parse byte, and say I write 1 2 3. So children, this 1 2 3 is a string data, but this particular function parse byte is converting it into of data type byte. So in v we are going to get a number 123. But children, it is only going to convert number within the range of byte. The range of byte is from -127 -128 to 127. So if it would have been greater than that, then that number gets reduced to that value and you get that value. So this particular function is converting a string data into a byte data. And children, this byte which I have used over here is the wrapper class which I told you now. Now the second function over here of this type is parse short. Parse short, and it is going to convert a string data. Say parse short dot parse short, and here if I write string, this string should contain numbers, so it is going to convert this string data into type short. So it is converting a string data into a numeric data of type short. Then we have another function called parse int. This function you might have used many times in buffer reader also. So here we write the wrapper class of int, that is integer dot parse int, and you write any string value. So it is going to convert any value which is written as string into integer data type. So if it have been 1 2 3 over here, then int v will be 1 2 3. Then children, we have other functions also. Parse, this is C. Then we have D, which is parse long. This is going to convert string into long data type. So wrapper class we use dot parse long and a string. So it is going to convert my data which is as string stored in as an argument into of type long. So I am converting my string values to different data types by these things. Then the next is parse float, and for this we use float dot parse float, and I write a string. So it is going to convert my this string number into data type float. And children, the value returned by these functions will be either float or long or int or short or byte, depending upon the function which you are using. Then the next is parse double. Parse double, and the syntax of using this function is double dot parse double and string. So children, this function is going to convert this string data into type double. So these are the functions of parse. This is the 21st function which is containing 6 different functions which are converting the string value into the numeric data. Now children, we even have another function which is converting the string data into numeric data, and that is the next function which I am talking about is value of. So value of is also doing the same task. So we have another function which is performing the same task for us, and it is also converting string data into numeric data, and the function is 22nd and it is value of. So this function is also converting string data into numeric data. Now children, since we have many numeric data, so to convert it into byte, we write byte v is equal to byte dot value of this v small but of is capital, and you write a string value. So whatever number you have stored in this, say for example we write byte v is equal to byte dot value of, say I write 25. So this value gets converted into numeric data type of type byte. So this value of is also converting a string numeric value into a numeric value. We have other type of functions, or this value of can be used with other wrapper classes also. Say for example, if I want to convert, this is converting string to byte. If I want to convert string to short, then I use short v is equal to short dot value of a string. So this function is going to convert, or this format is going to convert a string value into data type short. Then to convert string into integer data type, we use the syntax like this: int v is equal to integer dot value of string. So this format is going to convert this string number into type integer. Then we have another function or another format used over here as long v is equal to long dot value of a string. So it is going to convert my string value into type long. And we have two more, that is e, that is to convert into float. So float v is equal to float dot value of string. So it is going to convert my string number into float data type. And children, these formats you must know, and these formats will be asked in the paper and you will be asked to give the outputs. And the last one is double v is equal to double dot value of string. So it is going to convert my string value into type double. And children, in both these, in value of and parse int, I have used wrapper classes also. So wrapper classes are used in these functions. Now children, I hope this function is clear to you now. Now we have the next function, and the next function is going to convert my values from numeric to string. So it is going to do the reverse. So I have written over here as string to numeric. Now the next one is from numeric data to string data. So even if I want to convert my string data into, or my numeric data of different data type into type string, so I have another function which is there in the syllabus, and this function is called the, now the next one is, this we already have done. Now the next is to convert numeric data to string object. So how can we convert a numeric data to string object? The function which is there is toString. So this is the function toString is the function which is converting my numeric data into string object. Say I want to convert a data, say byte, my data type is in byte, and I want to convert it to string. So what I'll do is, I'll write byte, or toString means, sorry children, I'll write string v is equal to byte dot toString, and you will have any byte value which is stored over here. Say if I have written string v is equal to byte dot toString, say if I write 25, then this v will store 25, but its nature, state will change into an object. So children, I hope byte to string or numeric data to string is clear. Now we have all other functions to change. The next one is, if I want to change short value to string, then my syntax of this function will be short dot toString, and here I have any short value which is there. So it is going to convert my this short integer value into a string value. Then the next function which is there is integer. If I want to change my int value to string, then I write string v is equal to integer dot toString, and I write any integer value within this. So it is going to convert my integer value into a string object. Then next is, if I want to convert my long value to a string, then I write string v is equal to long dot toString, and here is the long value, and it is going to change its state to string object. Then children, if I want to convert my float data type into string object, then I am going to use it float dot toString, and here I am going to use. So children, in all these formats I am using the wrapper classes. So wrapper classes are used in all these formats. And if I want to convert my double data type into string, then I use string v is equal to double dot toString, and here I write. Now children, a question comes, why are we going to convert these integer values to string objects? The reason is, if you want to apply some string functions on it, you can only apply on string objects. So before applying that, we are going to convert it into string objects. Then I can apply any other function like to uppercase, to lowercase, length, and I can do these in different programs if it is required. Now children, here I have finished my string function. The next function which I gave you in the table was string buffer function, but when we were looking at the reduced syllabus, the string buffer function has been removed this time, so we will not do that. And children, in this particular portion you only have to do the theoretical part which I have given. You have to follow the functions, you have to understand what these different functions are doing. And children, I call these functions as tools in Java. And when you have tools at home, you must know what this particular tool is doing. So you must know about each and every function, that what this particular function is doing. And children, not only that, you must also know where this tool is to be applied. When you are doing a task, you must know where you have to apply a particular task. And the same thing applies here. When you are writing programs, you must know that which function is to be applied. If you see children, here we have done 23 and 6, 18 plus 18 plus 20, that is, we have done 38 string functions. We have done about 19 mathematical functions. We have done 8 character functions. So many functions are there, and still we have more functions like next line, next int. And children, these functions already we have done before. We have functions which I will teach you later called read and read line. And read line and read line you are using parseInt. These are the functions which we have done. So children, you must know, you must follow the syntax, you must know the explanation of each function that is there in the syllabus. So thank you children, I hope this topic is clear to you. Now the next topic in this function which we are going to do is the user defined function. That is important topic which we must know, and you get questions in this also. So thank you very much children.